Welcome to Making Metrc Easy, presented by Outlaw Technology. I'm Hans Dietrich.
And I'm Bree Oaxaca, and each week we speak with companies in the trenches of the seed-to-sale process.
And today we're super excited to have Kevin Gannon, Systems Manager of BesaMe out of Missouri. We also have Dave Eagleson, our CEO and founder here at Outlaw, joining in with us.
Howdy.
So welcome, Kevin. It's great to speak with you. I know we just spoke. We speak a lot. It's nice to see you on here. And we've been working for a while, but for the people who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get started in this industry? Who's BesaMe? What do you guys do? Whatever you want to tell us, we're all ears.
Sure, yeah. Well, first, thank you very much for having me. Got started in the industry a couple years ago. I come from a service industry background, and, as kind of COVID really ripped apart that industry, was looking for a change, found as a process-driven guy, my other half runs a cultivation and manufacturing facility here in the state, and went to work for her for a little while and really enjoyed myself. Basically got involved in the Metrc side of it right away, and the compliance, the frustrations that come with that. Kind of what led me to you guys, actually. We had been recommended by Chad Burchick, who's a grower in Colorado, to give you guys a shout, and pretty much where our paths crossed, as it were, right?
Yeah, I can't remember whether it was 2 years ago. I don't remember the time, just time in the cannabis industry. Well, everybody knows how weed affects time anyway, but time in the cannabis industry is hard to track. But it seems like we've been working together for a while. We've worked with you while you were working with your better half. You got
True.
systems in there. We've helped you in other states. And now we're working with you on some major integration projects for your POS. I know Bree has just been out there. When were you out there, Bree? Last week in Missouri, and you visited Kevin and one of their sites?
That was probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, Kevin. Long enough, Hans, where all of the wonderful samples I got have been consumed.
When you first came to us, it was primarily for issues and pain points you were trying to solve in cultivation, particularly with the audits and harvests. How were you guys doing that before you automated with Outlaw? What issues were you trying to solve?
Oh man, it's like bringing up nightmares, right? We would have, so for harvest, what we would do is we would have two computers, two laptops running side by side. One, we would just build out the CSV file format that Metrc would accept, and would be entering, your 21 digit, tag as you'd go, and then handwriting, cross-referencing with a grid and a handwritten, 6-digit code to represent that tag off the left-hand side, so that if you missed anything, throughout the harvest process, and then we would upload it from there. I remember the first harvest that we did without Outlaw, it took 2 days. And it was easily one of the most painful experiences in the cannabis industry.
How many plants? Do you remember how many plants?
I think I was trying to remember that when you asked. I think it was like 1,200, 1,300 plants. And every imaginable issue that you could have came up, but try sitting there and reading off 22 or 24 digit numbers, right, for hours and hours on end, with people that are unbelievably talented cultivators and just amazing at their job, but they're not interested in the compliance or recording features that are necessary now, as we move to a legal market. So it was, I could still remember sitting at a 6-foot table with computers outstretched, just trying to keep track of it.
Well, hopefully you only had to suffer through that one time, Kevin.
It was one time, and then you guys came to the rescue.
Well, what's amazing though, Kevin, is, and you know this, and I can speak for our team, is the majority of the market still does it that way, right? We've been fortunate at Outlaw to get a lot of clients, obviously, but it's just a small amount. in the relative scheme of things, it is kind of amazing from our vantage point of, I don't know why they keep doing it. Why it's painful.
I honestly, I can't even imagine. Obviously my better half, she's still at that facility. I know that they're doing harvests now, of the same size in 2 hours.
Yep.
It's the time, labor, cleanliness, the savings it's insane. I can't even imagine having not used this moving forward.
Have you worked with anything besides Metrc? I know you were, I believe you were in like the brewing industry before this, right? They don't have anything near the compliance regulation.
No, yeah. There's no. I've never had to deal with previously in the restaurant industry and the brewing industry. I never really had to do with compliance in this way. I mean, we'd have to send COAs out for, different beers and whatnot, but nothing like this. Tracking in the cannabis industry is a whole different world.
So Bree, when you went out to visit, you were looking primarily at how we could better assist them now that we've integrated with the POS they're using, right? Or were you doing training?
Yeah. So, Kevin's team, using our tools, used them in cultivation, and they're using us at their processing facility to help track their Metrc package tags. And then, now as we've moved down into dispensary, we're now tackling the problem of inventory and cycle counts in those facilities. So you guys, Kevin, I think total have 5 dispensaries.
Correct. Yep. So BesaMe is the dispensary branding that we are utilizing in the Kansas City area. We do have 5 stores, and all 5 are now operating with the Outlaw tool for both Maverick and the package tool. But honestly, it's been a lifesaver. It's really starting to change the way we're doing inventory and operating, throughout that system. And quite honestly, you guys and your willingness to integrate with Trees, our POS system, has been the reason why we're able to kind of move forward in this way.
I know one of the big reasons you were looking for the automation tools is because you're preparing for a big project that's ongoing in Missouri now, the Entertainment District. Are you able to talk about that with us at all?
Sure, yeah. So, first in the country, Smokey River Entertainment District. We have some land and a concert venue that we have begun utilizing just outside of Kansas City in Liberty. It's a pretty large space. We had our first concert there this year on 420. We had Wiz Khalifa, Burner, Joey Badass. It was a pretty well attended show. We sold out at right around 8,500 tickets. Had Mike Tyson and Ric Flair there. It was quite the day. But yeah, so we have delivery within the Kansas City kind of greater area through our dispensaries. With that, and the ability to have the festival, which the state has said is an entity that we can have dual consumption, alcohol, as well as cannabis. We are able to deliver to the concert venue. With that, the need to track those sales legally through the state, seed to sale tracking system for the state with Metrc is you can imagine the complexity of those transactions. And so utilizing Outlaw to kind of keep everything as it needs to be inventory wise has been a lifesaver.
Now, is that facility up and running yet? I know last we spoke, I remember it's still being developed. When is it going to be, I guess, is the dual use already up and running, or is that coming?
Dual use is up and running. We had the
nice.
I
didn't get my tickets, Kevin. I don't remember the tickets in the mail.
Let's be honest. I told all of you guys that you made it.
Okay, you did. All right. Just throwing it out there, man. We did go out to see you, though.
Yes, that's true. We have the Missouri Growers Cup is coming up here pretty soon. We're expecting next year's 420 Festival will be probably about double the size that it was this year. There's going to be a lot of other events that are coming, but currently, we partnered with AEG for the first event, which went really well. Obviously I attended, but it was very well attended, and it was a it was a good time. I've been to a lot of festivals over the years. All festivals come with problems. It was one of those experiences where I was surprised that it just really didn't have those issues that you would normally see. But then again, when people get drunk, problems happen. When people get high,
So much.
you sell more food.
It's fun. It's so funny you say that. I've got some friends that are actually policemen, and they say the exact same thing. If I've got someone who's been smoking, it's pretty cooperative, very calm. Everything's great. If I've got someone who's been drinking, Katie, bar the door.
Federalized. Let's ship some product over to Russia too. Maybe they'll calm those guys down. Are you the only licensee in the entertainment district, or do you have? Are there others there as well as BesaMe?
There's no license specific on the property as much as the state has accepted that it's a consumption zone. Via that means that people can consume their cannabis on the zone. So we don't have, let's say, like a license or a dispensary on the facility itself. Okay. But we can deliver to the zone, based on fixed locations, which is useful, right? People in the future, as we have larger concerts, will be able to send emails out to individuals. You'll be able to pre-order your product. You'll be able to pick it up pre-show. Kind of saves a lot of people a lot of trouble, especially for larger shows, larger concerts. People will be able to travel in from out of state and kind of check one box without even having to worry about it.
That's pretty interesting because it's always funny. I listen to people talk about consumption lounge. Now, granted, yours is a consumption area, but I mean, I always kind of scratch my head like, how's it work? How's it monetized? But yours makes total sense to me. You're going to have restaurants, you're going to have bars, you're going to have a venue. So I could go there and make a full experience. I mean, it's going to be more inclusive, right? I mean, it's not just come in and it's a smoking area.
Exactly, right. Yeah, you're not just sitting on a fold out chair with a bunch of guys playing Dungeons and Dragons getting high. It's a different
exactly.
Although
too, though, that's not bad either.
Let's be honest, it's probably pretty fun. I was speaking to a gentleman the other day. He's in New York. They're going to have a dispensary, and they're currently running delivery operations because their dispensary brick and mortar location is under construction, and they've got approval already for a consumption lounge. And he's working with another gentleman who has a bowling alley who has got approval from the state to be a consumption lounge there.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Absolutely. Put the Lebowski on in the corner, or let's go.
Exactly.
No.
So when people were to fly in, I'm sorry, Bree, when people were to fly in and go to the venue, what would be some of the products or strains of yours that you would recommend they order?
We have the largest wet lab in the state, and I personally think that our rosin is just out of control. I have been, the flavors and strains are kind of come and go because we're processing and they're selling out immediately. So if you look for the Smokey River Cannabis brand, that's going to be what you're going to want to go with. The butter and live rosin is pretty much where it's at. I would also recommend if you can find them, because quite honestly, they sell out so fast. I've only gotten my hands on one. We've got some infused pre-rolls that are heading out recently as well that are both distillate or HT or live rosin infused, and they are absolutely fire. I had I think it was a champagne live rosin, and I wasn't able to spell my name after about 5 minutes.
Wow. Now, Kevin, when did Missouri go adult use? Wasn't it February?
It was February. Yep, that was.
So that had to be. Yeah, give us a little bit of how did that go? Because I live in the state of Maryland, and we just went adult use on Saturday, or the prior Saturday on the 1st of July.
I've been watching that. That looks like it was pretty fun, quite honestly.
Yeah,
Missouri was interesting. They always tell you it's going to be one day, and you can almost guarantee that it's not going to be that day. So, licensing had been granted. Everyone knew that we were going to be moving from a medical license to a comprehensive license to do both adult use as well as recreational, or adult use as well as medical. And the intention had been for it to be on a Monday. And I believe that the thought process behind that was, let's put stress tests at the beginning of the week and allow it to roll through the week into the following weekend. Well, I was, 6:30, I think, in the morning. I got a call from, I can't even remember who called me, but someone called me and said, hey, get a hold of Trees, who operates our POS system, and tell them that they need to flip the switch today. The state just let us know we're going rec today. And that was 3 days prior. And then they made the announcement, statewide. And quite honestly, not most, but let's say half the dispensaries, I think, were ready to rock, and the other half had to wait just because the state had told them Monday was the go day.
Well, at least it happened, right? It could be worse.
Oh,
poor Breeze in Virginia. They voted on making adult use, and the governor stopped it. So she's really in trouble.
Oh man. Well, you're still close to Maryland.
Exactly. I love a good road trip, you guys.
Yeah, but I'm in Florida. I'm down south in Florida, and this is only medical. So yeah, it's a long drive anyplace else.
That's the monkey paw deal you made, Hans, when you left the Northeast and moved to perpetual nice weather. So if you'd stayed in Massachusetts.
I'd be, I don't know. I don't even know what's going on up there right now. Probably flooded out or who knows right now.
It's an interesting part of the world.
Exactly.
No, they're crushing. They just announced they had $151 million in sales last month, I think.
Oh, they're crushing it. Yeah, they're doing great up there. But,
hey, I had a question for you, Kevin. I was just trying to remember back from our earlier discussions. You had talked about using our handheld, our Desperado, and how quickly you did an audit. How many plants and how long did it take? There was some number in my head, and I may be wrong.
Kevin is a record holder.
I swear, he has.
Yeah.
That was an adventure. I remember that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The state was coming to do an audit, and we knew we were compliant, but we wanted to prove that you could know exactly what was going on pretty quickly. I was able to audit the entire facility, so all four grow rooms, mom room, bedroom, and I want to say, if I remember correctly, it was like between 20 and 30 minutes. I want to say it was like 20 minutes or something like that. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I was sweating. It was probably embarrassing, but it was over 16,000 plants.
Wow.
Yeah, that is the record.
Yeah. Yep. You get the title, Kevin.
I'll take it. It was a lot of figure eights with the handheld running back and forth. Quite honestly, the state is utilizing similar technology, and at that time they hadn't really begun using it. And when they came in, they realized what we were showing them, especially when it was a normal audit, right? They come in, they ask you to, hey, we want to look for this plant. We want to look for this plant. Can you give us the life cycle on this product? And when they realized where I was pulling the data from and how quickly it was the conversation actually quickly turned to kind of what our process was actually, instead of auditing us.
That's crazy. We've seen that. In fact, Hans got a call from a cultivator. What was it, in Rhode Island?
Rhode Island, yeah.
Yeah,
they come in, an auditor, and she was like, yeah, you need to call Outlaw. He's like, who's Outlaw? Well, I use them when I used to work at a grow facility in Massachusetts. Now she's a state auditor in Rhode Island, and they'll get you guys covered because, yeah, they didn't know what they were doing. Rhode Island just went to Metrc recently, so it's not really their fault. But now they're getting with the program.
It's God. Look, when you first start, those yellow tags will be in your nightmares. But after a little while, when you realize how easy it is to kind of utilize that gun, your life changes.
Instead of writing down each number, writing down each weight, or touching each plant to make sure it's the right tag number, I mean, I couldn't even imagine doing it any other way.
It's funny. So the biggest issue that we had was user error in handwriting down these numbers.
Yep.
I mean, I don't care who you are, you're human. You're trying to write down a couple thousand, 20 something digit numbers, you're going to make mistakes. it's the way it works. And we had people on our team who were very upfront. Look, I'm dyslexic. It's like, okay, you're not in charge of writing anything down. You know, we have places on the team for you that you're still beyond useful. Let's keep it going. You know, I remember we transposed one number, and it took, I can't remember exactly what the number was, right? You know, whatever, it was a couple of years ago. But I remember thinking to myself, had I not made that mistake, I would have been done 2 hours ago.
Yeah, it's almost like a needle in a haystack. You know what I mean? You're like, where in the hell is that needle?
Yeah. And let's be honest, it's also the best hot and cold game that you can have as an adult.
It is. Hey, we call the segment "Making Metrc Easy." What's your take on Metrc? Like I said, we've heard varying degrees from folks. I think the industry, from my perspective, and I'll just speak from talking to a lot of folks, is more and more people are understanding the necessity of Metrc and also the function of Metrc. I think early on people were adversarial, but it's changed. What's your thought on it?
You know, there are things in it that are difficult or sticking points, you know, that I would have with it. But I've come to really like it, or I mean, as much as you can. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the DMV of cannabis, right? That's what we refer to it as.
Yeah, it's for instance, at Besa Labs, our manufacturing facility, we use Cannabis on top of it, but
Metrc, love Cannabis.
Yeah, they're great, but Metrc in itself it's really nice in that it's clean and you know what you're going to get there. And it's very rigid, which is good and bad, right? You know, but you're going to find what you're looking for if you know how to look for it. It's not going to give you all the ERP things that you want, you know, from a Cannabis or, you know, another company, but it's a necessary evil, you know? And if you're coming from a market that's using, like, let's say BioTrack or, you know, something different, I've assisted facilities in, you know, let's see here, like Michigan and Oklahoma, Mississippi, Missouri. They're all Metrc states.
Yep.
Right? And the one place, you know, that I'm looking and working in right now, New York, is a BioTrack state. And I've seen the inside of the program maybe for an hour and change. And I started just asking a few questions of the operator, and then the next thing they told me was that the state isn't even connected with BioTrack yet. And so I asked how they were submitting things to the state for you know, consumption or for, you know, sales, and they said they're literally just sending the state CSVs at this point. So,
wow,
yeah, you know,
could be worse. Could be pigeons.
Oh man,
smoke signals.
Looks like
we've heard the same. I mean, look, we have a leaning towards Metrc because of the structure it brings, right? We, as you don't take advantage of the RFID tags, obviously. Now we can barcode scan as well, and we do in some instances where needed. But yeah, we find that when Metrc's rolled out into a state, there's a structure or a foundation, as I like to call it, right? We're building a house on a foundation, but at least I know what the foundation is. I know what I'm dealing with. So it makes it a heck of a lot easier for a system like ours to basically talk to it, push things to it, even update to it. So we're big fans.
Well, let's face it, Dave, like, you know, we've talked about a bunch. You know, you were instrumental in getting the RFID program going years ago at Walmart, and Walmart, as we know, doesn't do anything that doesn't make sense, and they've elected to make everything tagged with RFID.
Yeah,
they're doing it.
Yeah,
you know, it works. So, you know, to do it just for compliance is one thing, but if the cultivators, the processors, the dispensaries use RFID for their inventory, for their auditing, just keeping track of their product, which is basically the same thing as money, then they're smart and it makes sense, and they're going to make more money in the long run.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, our MIP, as well as all of our dispensaries are utilizing it at this point. They're already, I think, have the time that it takes to do inventory and produce those reports for the state, as well as kind of their weekly inventory. I mean, it wouldn't make sense not to use it.
Yeah. What was the other thing? Missouri just threw another thing at you guys. Was it on 420? It was just recently where you had to also provide the Metrc API key on every bud tender when they sold something. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, there's a reinterpretation of the rules and regs, which, you know, hey, It happens. They've decided that every record that you have within the seed to cell tracking system has to be reflected as the API user. So let's say you're using your Outlaw tool and you're going to move a package from your safe to your fulfillment room. You know, you take the package, scan the tag, move the package from that room to that room. It has to say the individual's name who performed that. And actually, your program has the ability to, utilize that individual's Metrc API key on the back end, so it'll reflect that. But there are programs out there that don't, and that was a real problem for a couple months as some development has had to take place to kind of fulfill those needs and satisfy the state.
And that's kind of the reality of the world, right? The states are also getting educated. It's new to them as well. So we're always seeing slight nuances, changes, but yeah, I think it's how you react to it, right? I think we've worked really hard in our IT team. I'll take my hat off to them as far as the ability to quickly adjust. And I'll also throw kudos to you, Kevin, because you've given us a lot of ideas. One of the things that make our tools effective is people like yourself going, it'd really be nice if the button was on the other side, or it'd really be good if you added this function. Look, for us, that's fuel, right? We need that information so that when we make things, it becomes even more and more intuitive. So I'll say on my behalf, thanks for all your insights.
No, man, thank you. Your tools made our life a lot easier. Jesse, I mean, gosh, when Bree came out and had this discussion about a few things that, he was looking for as functionality to be added, and then it was there literally the next week. He was going to lose his mind. He said, "How is this there already?"
Yeah, we do magic. I would go. Justin Peterson, our CTO, definitely is a magician. We'll give him the kudos on that because, he is very much, because we've built everything ground up. Literally every piece of code, every line is done by us. We didn't, take third-party products and build on top of it like Salesforce or something. That's not how we constructed it because that's the only way. That's the only way.
Everything's done by us, but based on industry input. Everything
correct,
based on what cultivators told us, processors, and now dispensaries told us. And Bree is really good at getting that across and bringing it back to her.
That's a fact.
Let's be honest. You guys have some of the best support in the industry. I believe there was at one point a couple of years ago where I was mid-harvest, losing my mind, and you answered the phone from a beach.
It was Saturday.
I mean, look,
Well, look, we also understand, honestly, you're mid-harvest. You have to get it done. Putting a support ticket that sits for weeks for you to get a response is unacceptable. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we would have been in serious trouble.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, God, without that type of outreach and support, look, products are only as good as the people behind them.
Agreed. We'll get to see you soon. I was going to tell you in October, end of October, we're going to be out at Missouri West Cannatech show, the 25th through the 27th. So we'll be able to check out the large smoking lounge you have.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know if you got any events around that time. We'll come out earlier and stay later just so.
Yeah. It's a Wednesday, Thursday. I think it's a Thursday, Friday event. So yeah, Bree, the three people on this call, Bree and myself and Hans, we will definitely be there.
Fair enough. Yeah. I think I am not sure. Oh, it's in September. We have the Missouri Growers Cup in September 23rd at the Smokey River Entertainment District.
Ooh, I might have to come out early.
Give me a shout. Let me know.
I will.
All right. Yeah.
Kevin, I wanted to ask you to share how people can get in touch with you, or if they want delivery when they come down there. What are your social media handles? How do they get in touch with BesaMe?
Absolutely. If you go to besamewellness.com, you're going to be able to basically shop and have delivery right from there. You can also hit any of our stores. We have one in North Kansas City. We have one on Berry Road in Kansas City proper. We've got one in Smithville, Warrensburg, and Liberty. But we do deliver in the larger area there. Be on the lookout for Smokey River Cannabis products, Sketchy, Smokey River Reserve, and we are on the St. Louis side as well. We're in, Green Relief, Green Light, Mint, Bloom, Field Estate, Good Day Farms. There's a plethora of zones you can hit us up. For social media, BesaMe Fam on Instagram, Smokey River Entertainment District, and Smokey River Cannabis, all on Instagram. Best way to get a hold of us.
Bree, you want to do the honors of asking the final question?
I sure would. So, Kevin, our final question for you is, who is your favorite outlaw? Be it fictional character, nonfiction, singer, actor, movie character?
Man, I'm going to go with Doc Holliday.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially Val Kilmer's portrayal, Tombstone's probably one of an old school favorite.
Love it.
Well, Kevin, thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. As always, we love talking with you, and you're always giving us new ideas.
My pleasure, guys.
Thank you. And I know we'll be talking with you soon, and we're looking forward to being out there again in October. To all of our listeners, thank you for joining us. You can download past episodes of our program by going to cannabisradio.com or the Cannabis Radio app for iTunes and Google Play. You can also subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. Thanks for listening, and be well.
The opinions expressed on this CannabisRadio.com program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of CannabisRadio.com. Any rebroadcast, republication, or retransmission of this program without proper consent is prohibited.